Some spaceships you remember as the hero. Then other ships appear for one episode. They absolutely destroy everything in sight, and they become incredibly memorable, more memorable than half the cast. The Mark 9 Hawk is one of those ships. It only appeared once in space 1999, yet 50 years later, people build models. They buy replicas of it constantly. They still argue about its design. We look at it and ask a question. Why didn't we get more of this? Because I love the Eagle transporter, but the Hawk might be cooler. And the origin story of this thing, that's where the nonsense gets really good. Welcome back to watching nonsense unfold. The Eagle deep dive was unexpectedly popular. It went down extremely well. So firstly, thank you so much. Your reaction made the follow-up very obvious. We are sticking with Space 1999. We return to Jerry Anderson's Strange World. Today we examine the Mark 9 Hawk. The Eagle looks practical and functional. It looks built by real engineers. The Hawk looks incredibly angry. It looks fast and dangerous. The Eagle is basically a space truck, but the Hawk ditches the cargo. They just gave it heavy weapons. That is exactly what makes it interesting. Underneath is a fascinating piece of effects work. The Hawks debut in the episode War Games. The obvious assumption is they are alien craft. They are attacking Moonbase Alpha. They are blasting eagles out of the sky. They are completely destroying the base. They make the regular crews look bad. But then Professor Bergman identifies them. They are not alien ships at all. They are actually from Earth. The Hawk was a military interceptor. Earth's Global Defense Command built them. The show loves elaborate backstory. They explain exactly where it came from. Earth feared increased alien hostility. The Hawks were a serious military response. But then the threat disappeared. Budget managers looked at the expensive craft. They ordered the fleet to be dismantled. Then the space dock was destroyed. Most remaining Hawks were lost forever, except the ones on screen, because these aren't real surviving ships. They're just an illusion. The aliens weaponized humanity's own nightmares. They turned them against Moonbase Alpha. It is a very clever plot idea, but it isn't very comforting. Here is where the Hawk beats the Eagle. The Eagle is versatile. It's a transporter, a passenger carrier, a rugged workhorse. You configure it for different jobs. The Hawk doesn't care about that. The Hawk exists to kill things. It is a two-man military craft. It holds a pilot and a gunner. It is 61 feet long. It weighs over 100 tons. And look at the design. There are no passenger pods, no science lab, no unnecessary equipment, no attempt to look comfortable. It's a cockpit on a frame, packed with engines, fuel and weapons. Then someone wanted more firepower. The answer was flatly yes. It holds 3 computer laser batteries, 16 independent missile silos, plus 2 self-guiding fusion torpedoes. That is a massive arsenal. And then look at the propulsion. It reaches 22% of light speed. It pulls 20 Gs of acceleration. How do human beings survive that? Apparently very good seatbelts. There is one more engineered feature. The pilot cabin can detach. It breaks away from the main frame, so you have an escape pod. The designers were incredibly optimistic. The real-world history is pure gold. Forget about the script notes. Look at the actual workshop schedule. Brian Johnson drafted the initial sketch. Martin Bow handled the physical build. The network gave them 0 time. The deadline was exactly 10 days. Let that number sink in. They needed a fresh Starship model. It required true visual realism. The mechanisms had to move correctly. It needed to fit the existing fleet. The primary miniature was nearly 3 feet long. They needed secondary models for distance shots. Bow pulled a legendary shortcut. He used classic kit bashing techniques. He skipped custom part manufacturing entirely. He bought commercial toy boxes instead. He raided standard store shelves for plastic bits. The method generated beautiful surface textures. Look closely at the giant rear thrusters. They were Saturn V rocket parts. The adaptation was brilliant. It looks like a high-tech interceptor, but it relies on basic hobby shop junk. Why reinvent the wheel? Just glue the pieces down. The final product is a total masterpiece. The famous paint scheme was a total fluke. The original model colour was solid white. The logic matched the main fleet perfectly. Sterile, polished, industrial, but a massive issue popped up early. Match a white fighter against a white shuttle, stage a crazy dogfight on a soundstage, the visual tracking fails completely. The viewers get totally confused. The director demanded an instant fix. The crew had to act fast. Bauer reached for bright orange paint. He brushed trim lines onto the nose cone. Forget about deep creative theories. The layout was a basic rush job, but the neon stripes changed the game. Plain white made it look generic. The orange made it look violent. The weapon profile grew a real soul. The contrast fixed the screen tracking. It's funny how history works. The most iconic detail was a backup plan. They just needed to see the target. That is why the Hawk deserves more attention. It appeared in exactly one episode. That's it, just one. And yet, the design survived. It remains instantly recognizable today. Companies still print model kits. Collectors still hunt down the replicas. Fans still debate the blueprints online. The Hawk gets something fundamentally right. It belongs in the same universe. You see the shared mechanical DNA, the exposed metal structure, the raw industrial engineering, the functional approach to space design, but the Hawk grows much more aggressive. The Eagle has a clear message. We need to transport people and gear. The Hawk says something else. We need to destroy something, and visually it succeeds brilliantly. Brian Johnson wanted an upgraded Ultra Hawk. He regretted missing that chance. I would have loved that. Imagine giving it the full Eagle treatment. Different ship configurations, different weekly combat missions, more actual screen time, a dedicated fighter squadron. Instead, we got one glorious appearance, and then it was gone. That rarity makes it memorable. I spent hours examining the Eagle transporter. Now, I must ask the big question. This might cause a little trouble. Which spaceship do you prefer? The Eagle or the Hawk? Look, I love the Eagle. I really do. But imagine a craft approaching in space. Which one would you rather see? I am probably choosing the Hawk, though if it fires 16 missiles at me, I may reconsider that choice. Let me know in the comments below. Does the Hawk outshine the Eagle? What about that famous orange paint job? Was it a stroke of accidental genius, or did you prefer the all-white look? Imagine a 10-day building deadline. Could you build a miniature from scratch? Hit that like button right now. Subscribe to Watching Nonsense Unfold. Go check out the Eagle video next. Do you love classic science fiction? Plenty more nonsense is waiting to unfold.